Now, only one of the country's 8 metros is financially sustainable. Ratings Africa says only the Western Cape province has financially stable municipalities. The worst performing municipalities are in the Northwest and Free State provinces. Now, the ratings agency further says that major changes are needed in municipalities. But for more on this, we're now joined by the agency's Charl Kocks. Charl, thank you for your time and good morning to you. Let's go through the study. Perhaps share with us what informs the ailing state of most of our municipalities.
Morning. Well, at the end of the day, if a municipality can't generate enough funds to be able to meet all its service requirements and also pay its creditors in the process, there's a problem. And we analyzed the financial statements of these municipalities. At this stage, 100 of the local municipalities and 8 of the metros. And frankly, the position since 2011 has been deteriorating slowly but surely. And the sad part is that once you're on the downhill slope, it's very difficult to claw back.
With that being said, I know that the study also mentions that they're literally on the brink of collapse. And I mean, this is not an easy read to know that our municipalities are dysfunctional at this point. What do you think it would take from government to prioritize these municipalities with the urgency that's needed?
Well, firstly, I think the voice has to come through to say it's a serious issue. It is the engine room of the country, remember. We forget that municipalities are really where things happen or supposed to happen. They're the people who are supposed to pay for the electricity that we eventually use when we have to pay them. They're the people who have to pay for the water that eventually we use and for which we have to pay them. And if we say that out of the 100 local municipalities that we've looked at, 60% are clearly below the, say, the high water line at 35% out of our 100. That's very, very serious. Now, we've heard government speak lightly, but we've not seen serious action. We've not seen them handle this as effectively a potential catastrophe.
We mentioned earlier on that the Western Cape seems to be, the best performing in terms of municipality. This compared to the Northwest Province and the Free State. What is it about the Western Cape that's working?
The management is generally speaking of a very high quality. And that management is getting support, whether it is from the provincial treasury or from national treasury that understands that it has needs for infrastructural spend. Is neither here nor there. But of the 24 municipalities there, 22 of them have got good quality management. And that is what it takes. This is not about politics.
I want to talk about, the role here of residents. It seems that there's some, spaces where we see residents either unable or unwilling to pay for services, imposing an ever-growing dependence on state grants to cover revenue shortfalls. And it brings into, a conversation I had yesterday around eThekwini saying residents within rural areas will need to start paying R100 flat rate fee because of the overpopulation growth there, but also because they not paying for their municipal fees. Is that the right way to go for, a metro to say, let's perhaps increase a rate or introduce a new rate to assist in the non-payment of certain services by residents?
Well, frankly, every municipality has to decide what it believes is the right route to take. But we need to understand that our residents are under huge pressure financially. They need to understand that if they don't in some way assist the municipality with providing these services, then the consequences will be dire. So it's a working together, we believe, that is required. It's also required, I think, that residents see themselves as being involved in what the municipality should be doing, if it's not doing that already, and actually saying, look, we're going to help fix this. That's not generally seen to be the case. There's no general feeling that there's a civic responsibility of a resident to assist the municipality that's floundering. The municipalities don't seem to realize that they're in these dire straits. They just soldier on to into the next dawn regardless. And that's very, very serious, because if you don't realize exactly how deep the pit is that you're in, there's no way that you're going to get the biggest shovel to dig yourself out of it.
Charl, I want to go back to last year for a moment with the local government elections. What message do you think, resident South Africans were sending to political parties that have to govern, these different regions? We know that the ANC, for instance, losing quite significant metros in Johannesburg and Tshwane and Ekurhuleni, for example. But when we look at the performance of municipalities and how South Africans are voting, is there a message there at all?
I don't think the message is clear yet. I think most people are voting because they are unhappy that they haven't received, say, the housing that they require, that the roads around them aren't in a good condition, that they don't get water 24 hours a day and so forth there. So they are feeling the basic negatives. They're not really seeing the big negatives financially speaking. They're not looking at the longer term. But I think that the dissatisfaction with the service delivery is coming through in the voting pattern. I would just honestly argue that it should have been there much earlier and should perhaps be deeper. But at the end of the day, the important point is that management wakes up and says, look, we have a job to do. We are floundering. We are not doing the job. Let's see how we can fix that.
All right, we'll leave it there, and I appreciate you speaking to us about this. Charl Kocks, thank you so much for talking to us this morning.